For my project, I did it on Cesar Chavez. My cultural experience was watching the documentary Caesar's Last Fast, which was on Netflix. To give you some background information about Cesar Chavez, he was born in 1927 in Arizona. He served 2 years in the Navy. He co-founded the United Farm Workers Union in 1962. You probably know him as a civil rights activist, and he really wanted to lead nonviolent protest. And he finally died in 1993 at the age of 66. So as I was watching the documentary, I kind of saw some differences between the Hispanic culture and my culture. A lot of the Hispanics at this time were farm workers, and sadly their lifespan was only about 49 years old. Their conditions weren't the best, and some of the pesticides would fall in the food and then adversely affect the farm workers. There was an act called the National Labor Relations Act, which was enacted during the Great Depression. It gave everyone the right to bargain except for housekeepers and farm workers, which was actually predominantly minorities. So that affected them poorly. So in the beginning, around 1965, Cesar Chavez tried to get a following, and he had three main goals. He first wanted to get a strike going to gain awareness, and his second goal was to build a better life for the people that he was fighting for, which in this case were the farm workers and the minorities. And thirdly, he wanted it to be nonviolent. He really liked Gandhi and his teachings, and he wanted to follow his method to protesting. So in 1966, Cesar Chavez tried a different approach, which was to boycott the grapes and lettuce. And this boycott actually gained a lot of following. It was able to spread throughout the United States, as well as other countries such as Canada and England. And it was able to cut sales by 9%. So new opponents were starting to take Cesar Chavez and his organization a lot more seriously. And 14 million people stopped eating grapes. 500 different cities started doing this boycott. So it was really in 1966 that Cesar Chavez was able to get awareness for the farm workers. And he also wanted to do a march to Sacramento, a lot like the march that resembled Selma with the African Americans. And he was doing all this to help gain awareness for farm workers and to help improve their working conditions. So in the 1970s, they were able to gain some contracts, over 200 contracts, and have about 70,000 workers be under contract. So he was able to bring unionization throughout California agriculture. However, when they expired, he and his organization lost a lot of those contracts. A lot of growers signed with the Teamsters. So in these times, in the 70s, Cesar Chavez and his organization were struggling a little bit to help his members continue to have their conditions be good. But however, there was something good that came out during the 70s. 1975 was the California Agricultural Labor Relations Act, which was a good piece of legislation, and it was the first time that farm workers in America had a collective bargaining mechanism, which was a really big win for Cesar Chavez and his organization. So the documentary, it focused a lot on Caesar's last fast, which was in 1988. And at that time, he was 60 years old. So it was kind of hard for him to fast since he was kind of old at the time. And at day 30 of his fast, he had lost 30 pounds, which was actually about 17% of his body weight. However, he continued with his fast. He didn't fast just to get something done, but he fasted in order to gain awareness about the struggling condition of farm workers. And throughout the documentary, it showed how he would like to use Mass, Catholic Mass, as the center of the union's activity. He thought it was a good way to have a sense of community. And we kind of see the film really shows the difficult part of fasting, and Cesar Chavez really explained how it's really hard for your loved ones to worry about you. And so these are my sources, and this is my presentation on Cesar Chavez, who I believe was a true activist in helping the farm workers get better working conditions and to live a better life. Thank you.